We woke up in Custer to a warmer, windless Sunday that made me want to stay. But we checked out, said our goodbyes to Roland, Amy, and Kwame, then headed to the Feel Good Cafe for a goodbye breakfast meetup. Alright, we are leaving the Feel Good Cafe, and we're going to go charge up a little more so we can make a speed run home and hopefully maximize our charging experience as we go. But nice time here. Not too sociable as most people have already gone, but that's all right. We had a nice time. It's a great place, a cool vibe, just a good area to hang out for a little while. Let Joan watch the fish. Joan, are you ready to go home? You ready to go home? Yeah, me too. All right, we are on the move, and we just left the Feel Good Cafe about a half hour ago. Originally, I had thought we would need to charge up a little more in Custer, but when I plugged home into the navigation, it started preconditioning for Wall, South Dakota. I didn't realize how close Wall was, only like 120 miles or something like that. And we had 69%, so it just said, hey, start headed that way. At least down by Custer, there didn't seem to be much wind at all. We'll see if that holds true. Saying we were going to get to Wall with like 26%. Happy to be on the move. It's a beautiful day. It's warmer. Doesn't seem to be as much wind. It would be great to go see the sights, but she's got school tomorrow and we need to get home at a relatively decent time. So originally when I had planned this trip, the way home was going to be a speed run, and I was going to try to leave Custer with 100% and then just make as few and as short of stops as we could on the way home. Didn't end up obviously charging to 100%, but still going to try to do the speed run as best I can without making it torturous for Joan. But for the sake of getting home at a decent time and just kind of showing how fast charge stops can be, I'm still going to try to do that. The one huge advantage is we are going downhill a lot, and I didn't realize how far uphill we were going to Custer because it was dark. I mean, I could kind of feel it, but actually seeing how much regen we're getting and everything is a big help going east. And then hopefully we'll have the wind pushing us instead of a headwind, but you never want to count on that. We left Custer about 10:15. It's now 10:46. We've been driving this whole time, and we're only down to 60%. So we've been coming downhill so much that we've only lost 9%. So that'll change once we get onto more level ground on the plains, but we'll enjoy the regen while we have it. And that's plenty of talking for now, so we'll see you in Wall unless something else dramatic happens. You put the green hat on. Oh, you look so cool. You look so cool. And the blue one too. Wow, what a fresh lid. You look way dope, yo. Just got to Wall, 11:41. Saying 41 minutes here. I don't think we need to do that. I think we can hit Murdo and be just fine. So we'll plug in, see what's up. Look what the cat dragged in. I thought you guys were halfway home already.
No. We're just taking our time.
The plan was to hit Wall Drug for lunch and play in some of their kid-friendly spaces. We walked over there, but Joan wasn't having it, so we came back and played in the rocks for a real fun time. With how petulant Joan was being, I let her play in the rocks for longer than normal to get a break outside the car. Eventually, she was ready to go. All the way up to 96%. Saying we have enough to continue our trip, I should say so. We are going to unplug here and get moving. This is probably not the fastest way to do it, but we're on the move. As we're driving back, and now we're into the plains, kind of reflecting back on the trip, very grateful for the organizers for putting this all together and hosting us again this year. It's a really cool event, and showcases that the Tesla community is not just one guy. It's a bunch of individual owners who just enjoy driving in good, capable EVs and enjoying the good charging network to get out to places like Custer, enjoy the Black Hills, all of that stuff. The downside of having the dinners and everything is that we cannot use up the prime driving and viewing time of sunset by being indoors, not driving. I get it, you gotta have dinner at a reasonable hour and everything, but having Joan with me and leaving after the initial dinner stuff, noticing how beautiful it was outside, it gave us the opportunity to do a sunset drive and see things you just don't see it during the day, just because the light's flat and it just brings out a different kind of beauty. I don't know how many Tesla owners are early risers, but I would think it would be kind of cool to organize like a sunrise drive and go up the Needles Highway or one of the other nice drives for sunrise and enjoy that different light and take some photographs, video, whatever, for people who enjoy that kind of thing. And then do the same thing at sunset. I'm not sure how you'd plan around that for meals and happy hour, because it is good to have that social time too. So maybe if like one day the big event was a lunch, and then like a sunset drive, and then like an after party get together at one of the places as just a different option, might be kind of cool for future events. So going eastbound with a little bit of wind behind us, we're doing much better than the 549 or whatever watt hours per mile we were getting on the way west. So wind change definitely helps. We probably are overall going down in elevation as well, but gotta imagine for the most part that this is due to wind. We were set to go to Oklahoma straight from Wall, and then about 20 minutes ago it decided to route us to Murdo instead. If I were alone, I would just press on to Oklahoma, but Murdo's got that nice playground behind the chargers, and it'll be another good place for Joan to rest and play. So we're going to stick with the plan, and like I said, we'll try to be as efficient as we can, but see where we end up at the end of the day. All right, just got to Murdo, 54%. Saying 20 minutes here, that seems excessive, but we will see. Joan's going to play in the playground, and I'm going to get the windshield cleaned up. So, time for a quick stop. Hopefully not really 20 minutes. Oh, I've never been here on a calm day. This is fantastic. Alright, we were playing in the playground for a while. And then just as the car was ready, we had a little diaper emergency, so took care of that, added a little extra charge, more than we were planning, but that's how it goes. So we are now at 92%. Trip info. We're going to stop at a gas station and get some snacks and things on our way out of town and be on the way. And we're almost to Mitchell, South Dakota, so we are making tracks. Got about 12 miles left to go, and I was just thinking about something. A couple ladies stopped and asked us about charging. The usual questions of how long does it take to charge, how much does it cost? And, I said usually our stops are 20 to 25 minutes. So it was like, oh, that would be so annoying. I couldn't do that. Try to explain that, well, most of the time you charge at home and it's just full in the morning. Also, the more we got to talking, they were talking about how they have to stop because they have dogs, and they're doing this road trip or whatever they're doing in their RV, and I'm not sure which one was theirs, but either you're towing something from a truck, towing an RV that way, or doing, the full built-in truck RV all in one. And like every night you're on your trip, you're having to go through the process of plugging in, doing your wastewater, doing your, all the setup stuff to do the RV thing, which is fine. And, but it's like when it's something people want to do, it doesn't seem like an inconvenience. And when you watch other people do their things, not wanting to do it, it seems like an inconvenience you would never do. But, like we were talking, would have to stop occasionally to let Joan play, and they have to let their dogs out. So, people just kind of choose how they want to travel. And I think the thing that didn't really come across is, it's slightly less convenient when you're on a road trip, but other than us, most people aren't road tripping all the time, or, they'll take one big trip a year or two. And the rest of the whole year is far more convenient, far cheaper. It's cheaper on, road trip too, or about the same. But I just thought it was kind of interesting, the perception of what's convenient and what's not convenient based on your wants and needs. But this trip is going pretty well. Looks like we're going to get to Mitchell with about 24%, something like that. So pretty high, but we should be able to charge here and make it all the way to Worthington easily. We're also in need of some semi-real food. So when we plug in Mitchell, we'll run over to the Dairy Queen and get something. Hopefully be on the road again soon. Right now it's saying we'll get home at 10:04 p.m. I would love to beat that, but we'll see. 62 degrees now. Doesn't seem to be much wind, maybe a little crosswind, but it's kind of behind us, so not causing any issues, and we're just rolling. The last 30 miles we've averaged 351 watt hours per mile, so much better than how it was coming out here. All right, just got to Mitchell, 22%. Let's see, trips. So 141 miles since our last charge. 330 watt hours per mile, not bad at 80 miles an hour. So we're doing pretty good. Let's plug in and get moving. And it's saying 25 minutes. All right, let's hope we can do better than that. All right, just departing Mitchell. Gonna hit Dairy Queen and get some chicken strips and be on our way to Worthington. All right, we got up to 78%, 523. We're gonna hit the road. Minnesota welcomes you, and we are just crossing the border at 6:36 p.m. Central Time. That means it's been about 7.5 hours since we left Custer this morning. We're 43 miles from Worthington, and it's saying stay at Worthington for 30 minutes to get home with 14%. That's too much to get home with, and Worthington is not a super fast charger. So since we have to drive by it with St. Peter anyway, I'm going to re-navigate to St. Peter, get to St. Peter with a really low state of charge, and then use that V3 charger just to get enough to get home. So hopefully that saves us time. I think we're going to need another stop by the time we hit St. Peter anyway. Hopefully this 30-minute Worthington stop turns into a 10-minute. Get on the road, get to St. Peter, charge fast, and get home just, with barely enough to make it, because once we're home, we can slow charge overnight. Trying to pick up, we lost 10 minutes on our estimated time of arrival at home was 10:04. Now it's 10:14 because we lost about 10 minutes in the Dairy Queen drive-thru. So see if we can pick that up and be a little more efficient. But good to be back in Minnesota and almost on the home stretch. We just made it to Worthington with 10%. It's saying 25 minutes, but I don't think we need that long. We need to do a restroom break and clean that windshield. Saying we'll get to St. Peter with 11%. Even if there's wind, I can manage that and just slow down, but I'm ready to move. Here's the stats as of now. And 7:35, let's hit the road. The sun's about to go down here, so just wanted to check in before it gets too dark in the car. But we are cruising towards St. Peter. Says we'll get there with 11%. It went up a little bit, and then now it's kind of dropped back down, so that's fine. We'll do a quick pit stop there, and then on to home. On this stretch, we're averaging about 319 watt-hours per mile. Pretty good, not much wind. There's hardly any traffic. I've had to pass like 5 people, but that's it. But we're on the home stretch. We've got 48 minutes to St. Peter, then it'll be another 50 minutes to an hour till home. Right now it's estimating home at 10:25 p.m., which is very late for her bedtime, but we got a good night's sleep last night, slept in, so hopefully that's all good. I hope that's not too much glare. Or maybe you can see the sunset. I'm not sure, but it's 55 degrees out, and I'm sure I could get monster mileage if I slowed down a little bit, but I'm basically staying with what other vehicles are doing, maybe slightly faster. But so now as dusk approaches, we're just going to watch for deer, because although it was fun to see them in Custer, it's not going to be fun to see one up close. That's the game plan. I will catch you when we hit St. Peter. 12% at 9:17 p.m. 15-minute estimated charge. I bet we can beat that. We're gonna ramp up. Hey June, look out the window. Well, that was cool. My brother met us in St. Peter to give Joan a little surprise, and the Hy-Vee is actually open till 11 p.m. So that was fantastic. I got a restroom break in there too, so we should be good to go by now and ready to roll home. Saying we're gonna get home with 14%. So time to say goodnight and go, go, go. All right, got up to 46%, 9:28, and headed home. Saying we're gonna get there with 19%. We are at home with 20%. I would have liked to get here with 5%, but the V3 in St. Peter was just too fast. But home with 20% at 10:22. Total trip is 1,587 miles at 343 watt-hours per mile. Yeah, pretty good efficiency today. Brought down the efficiency from the way out there. So we'll wrap up in the studio. Time to get this little girl to bed. Another incredible long weekend trip in the books, and although it wasn't quite the trip I had originally planned, and I apologize if I didn't say hello or just quickly said hello in passing as I was distracted, although I apologize for that, we did try to make the most of it and had a pretty good trip. But let's take a look at some stats. The way home was far better, costing only $71.85 compared to $105.60 on the way there. The total for the whole trip was $201.36 and compares roughly to a gas car getting 30 miles per gallon with gas at $4. I think that's a fairly conservative estimate given recent gas prices, and the efficiency of a 30 mile per gallon car wouldn't quite be at that top of the range fighting a 20 mile an hour headwind and going 80 miles an hour across South Dakota. But I don't want to oversell EVs, and I don't want to set unrealistic expectations, because frankly, the trip out to Custer was a pain in the butt. But on the other hand, on our trip home, every stop we ended up staying longer because of personal reasons, not because of charging. And that's going to be the case when traveling with kids or pets, and you need to make those stops, no matter what you're driving. The cost change over the last year is another hot topic, with energy prices going up and Tesla charging differently for supercharging. Last year we drove 1,384 miles for $69.19. That's the total, and that's 5 cents per mile. Generally, costs have gone up, and South Dakota now charges per kilowatt hour instead of by time. So our 1,587 miles this year, although nearly identical in efficiency, resulted in about 13 cents per mile. So like I mentioned earlier, it's now closer to a road trip in a fuel-efficient gas car, but still, when you're charging at home, off-peak, you're going to save a ton of money day to day driving around town, going to work and back. Our time stopped at chargers on the way home did improve over a half hour over last year's time. But last year we did drive through the Badlands on the way home, and that did burn up some energy. Alone, I'm sure I could have got it below 2 hours, and in the course of an over 13-hour day of travel, that's really not too bad. We've got more trips and adventures coming this summer, and hopefully those will go a little more according to plan, but you never know. Thank you for joining us on this adventure. Thank you to the folks in Custer for setting up the Sound of Silence rally. We really enjoy it, and we're really looking forward to 2023 and heading back out there again. If you enjoyed this and want to keep up with our future trips, other EV info, please like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Again, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Happy road tripping.